How's it going, everyone? Danny here with TrueVan, and today we're going to be covering how to clean your camper van after you've been out camping, off-road, and off the beaten path. So behind me is one of our demo vans, and we've been camping in it for the last couple of days. As you can see, we've got some caked on mud and debris from going off-road. I'm going to be covering some of the techniques, chemicals, and equipment that I use to wash this vehicle, and I'll offer some alternative solutions for people who don't want to buy some specialty equipment just to wash their car. So first, we're going to start with the exterior. More specifically, we're going to use a pressure washer to spray off the large debris that's caked on the van. Now, normally, if you have a foam cannon pressure washer setup, you'd start with that, but since we have large chunks of dirt, we really want to get that off the vehicle first. Now, if you're not using a pressure washer to wash your car, I recommend at least a spray nozzle attached to a garden hose to blast the dirt off your van before you begin. Now, one area that's often overlooked on a camper van is the roof. Now, the roof doesn't get dirty like the rest of the van and is usually out of sight, so many people ignore it. However, if you have access to a roof, then I highly recommend washing the top at least once every other month at the bare minimum. And apply some sort of UV protection in the form of a wax or coating to prevent oxidation of the paint, which eventually leads to paint failure. Now that the larger pieces of dirt and grime are knocked down, we'll apply snow foam to let the soap break down the dirt and road grime that's on the van. Now, while the snow foam is doing its thing and the paint is soaking, we can take some time to clean the wheels and the wheel wells. I'm using a product called Brake Buster by a company called P&S, but you can use any wheel or tire cleaner that you prefer. You also want some kind of brush or separate microfiber towel in order to agitate the dirt and the brake dust on the wheels. The black Rhino rims that we have on Angelina don't have any smokes, but if your van does, you're going to want to make sure that you agitate between the smokes as well. Also, don't neglect to brush your tires. You'll notice as we're brushing our tires, that soap is turning filthy and brown and kind of gross. And that's all road grime that's caked on your tires. This is incredibly important, especially if you want to eventually apply some sort of tire dressing to finish off the look of your vehicle. I can't emphasize enough how important wheels and tires are to the overall look of your vehicle. Now, I'm going to be using the 2-bucket method to wash the outside since the van is so dirty. The point of the 2-bucket method is that you have separate rinse and wash buckets. One has soap, one just has clean water. And both buckets have grit guards on the inside, and the grit guards trap dirt and debris that you rinse off of your wash mitts so that they don't contaminate your wash mitt as you're washing the vehicles, because any outside contaminant can scratch and mar the paint. For a large van like the Mercedes Sprinter, having a microfiber mitt attached to a pole makes it way easier to wash all the surfaces on the outside. I'm about 5'9", and the top of the van is about 10 feet high. So a wash wouldn't be possible without that extension pole. Now, cleaning a vehicle can completely change its presence. Even though the paintwork on the van isn't perfect and the single-stage paint Mercedes uses doesn't do it any favors, our van still looks incredible. I'm using a spray wax by Adams Polishes to pull double duty as a drying aid, as well as to help provide UV protection. Now, I know that seems kind of weird, spraying something liquid to help dry the vehicle, but it really works. The towels that I'm using are waffle weave microfiber towels, specially made to dry vehicles, and they hold an incredible volume of water. And even when they're completely saturated, they don't leave a single drop behind. Once you've dried the car and applied protection, we're ready to move on to the inside. Now, like the exterior, we want to knock down the large pieces first. We're going to do that by vacuuming everything up. I'm just using a portable Milwaukee hand vac, but a shop vac would work even better. Now do the same thing with each of the seats. Now, while you're vacuuming, make sure to pay special attention to the areas between the seams of the seats. That's where all the crumbs and bits fall into throughout the life of the seats, and you want to be thorough in these areas. Another pro automotive tip is to make sure you lean your seat back when you're vacuuming, because that exposes the seam between the seat back and the seat portion of the chair. For any remaining debris after vacuuming, an all-purpose cleaner or automotive detailer works great. Spray everything down, agitate with a brush or microfiber towel, and wipe dry. Now, as far as the living area of the camper goes, we did design our camper to be just like living at home. So all of our surfaces were treated as if you were living at home. And so for the workhorse of cleaning the inside of the vehicle, I just used an all-purpose cleaner. I happen to use Method all-purpose cleaner at home, so this is what I use inside the van. Treat the other panels in the van the exact same way. The detail that I'm using happens to be safe on screens on the dash, so I'm using the same product throughout. So for the inside of the van, I'm using Optimum No Rinse, diluted down to create a quick detailer. Any quick detailer will do here. Any automotive detailing store will have a quick detailer, and this is just to help lift and loosen debris inside the vehicle. And it can be used outside. It's paint safe. And this is good for soiled areas to lift and remove dirt safely. And then for the seats and the dash, I'm using Adam's interior detailer. Once again, any interior detailer that you prefer is perfectly fine. And the difference between like a general quick detailer and an interior detailer is that the interior detailer has UV protectants as well as some gloss properties in order to help restore the inside plastics and vinyl of your vehicle's interior. So that's why you saw me use it on kind of the door panels as well as the seats of the vehicle. Now, both of these products are used for kind of lightly soiled components. Now, if your seats are heavily soiled, you may want to get a more specific interior cleaner and conditioner for your seats. Ours were only very lightly soiled, so an interior detailer was good enough. It's not glamorous work, but the results will speak for themselves. Make sure to open each compartment to get the inside of things. I missed some of these on my first record through, and I had to go back after filming to wipe them down. Flip down all the bed, tables, benches, and high touch point surfaces to make sure those areas get cleaned. Now, this van is equipped with a black tank toilet as well as a wet bathroom area, so I'm just going to do a quick wipe down of the shower pan area. The nice thing about our van is that we can use the shower to wet everything down a bit, saves us a little bit of all-purpose cleaner and a little bit of time. Now, this floor is filthy after camping, and I usually like to take my shoes off in the van, but you just can't do that when you're showing off the van at expos. Who knows what kind of gunk people were walking through before visiting our van, so we're going to do an initial vacuum. After the vacuum, we're going to use all-purpose cleaner to give an initial wipe down to pick up anything that the vacuum missed. And for the final wipe down, we're going to use a steam mop. This is exactly the same kind of steam mop you might use at home. We have a cheap Bissell unit that has done very well for us to give the floors a final clean. The steam will do two things for us. It's going to loosen and lift any stuck-on grime that the all-purpose cleaner couldn't lift off. It's also going to kill any bacteria that's on the floors. We use a 3,000 watt inverter in our van by Victron, so powering this steamer is no problem. For some extra cleaning power, you can add a little bit of vinegar into your steam mop, but I'm just going to go with distilled water here. Now look at the state of our steam mop. Check out all that grime. Keep in mind, this is after an initial APC or all-purpose cleaner wipe down. And that's pretty much it for the inside. Now, if you've gone this far, give yourself a nice pat on the back. We're almost done. Last couple of things to take care of is to apply tire dressing and clean up the windows a little bit. For automotive windows, make sure to use an ammonia-free solution. Roll down the window slightly so you get the edge clean that's normally hidden by the window gasket. For the tires, use the tire dressing of your choice. I happen to be using Adam's graphene tire dressing, and I actually really like this one. Tire dressings are going to be very different between brands. Some of them have silicons in them, some of them don't. This is a water-based tire dressing. I recommend a water-based tire dressing. Silicon tire dressings are not body shop safe. And what that means is that like the silicons inside those kind of products can affect automotive paint if you're, regularly working with body shops and stuff like that, as we do at TrueVan. So I like using a water-based tire dressing. This one is graphene infused. It doesn't have a super high gloss. It's more of like a satin in between matte and very high gloss. And it provides good UV protection for your tires, as well as some water repellency, so it stays on pretty well. So I really like that product. And just like that, guys, you've got yourself a clean camper. Depending on how thorough you want to be and how dirty everything is, this is about a 3 or 4 hour endeavor. And I know a vehicle of this size can seem daunting, but keep in mind you don't have to wash it all at once. You could break it up into 2 or 3 sessions. The only thing that I recommend doing all at once is make sure when you wash the vehicle, you dry the vehicle. That needs to be done all in one sitting. But as far as the inside and then cleaning the glass and the tires, those can always wait to other days or later on during the day. And there you have it. Those are all the products I use for cleaning this van. If you guys have any questions, please leave it down in the comments below. We are reading all of the comments that we get, so I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys might have. Now, if you found this video helpful or insightful at all, please consider liking it and subscribing. We're just starting this channel out, so it'll really help us out. Until the next video, guys, happy camping.